You, me, we need to have a talk. Hey, welcome to the Ozzstar channel. I'm Glen, and if you're new to the channel, today we're going to do something just a little bit different. Usually we're out in the garage fixing something, working on something, usually car related. Today we're going to talk about cars, but we're inside, nice climate control, 72 degrees, and there's no grease under the fingernails. So anyhow, today I want to talk to you guys about Corvette Racing. I'm working on a little project here inside, and I wanted to share it with you. Some of you might find it interesting as far as Corvette history or just the whole race side of Corvette. Now we got to discuss like this race car. Let me show you here. This race car here is a C7R is what it's called, the letter R. So basically this car looks very similar on the outside as a road car that we're all familiar with. The 2014 to the 19 is a C7 7th generation Corvette. And the internals of this car, the powertrain, the suspension, basically everything else in there that makes it race is completely designed by a different company than General Motors. Has nothing really to do with Chevrolet, just that they work together, and that's Pratt & Miller. So Pratt & Miller is a company in Michigan. I believe they offer tours of their place there. I'm not sure, but I've never been there. I hear it's pretty neat. But that's where they do all their research and development for this car. And what's interesting is the last generation, the C6R, which was the 6th gen, that car, the race car, was actually some of that design, internal design, suspension and all that was used in the C7. So they do use their race cars to produce road cars to make them even better. So I guess that's why the C7 road cars, handle so great. They're amazing cars. If you haven't driven one, I suggest you do. Even get one and be even better. But anyway, so I want to talk a little bit about that and what I have here. The Pratt & Miller builds the cars. They in particular, they race all over the world basically, not just in the United States, all across the world. And the 24 hours of Le Mans is what I want to discuss with you guys in particular. That's in France. That's a 24-hour race. It's an endurance race. So there's two cars, usually the number 63, and the car we're going to talk about today is 64. And so there's two cars per team Chevrolet, I guess you call them, Team Corvette. And each car has 3 drivers. So over the 24 hours, they share responsibility driving the car. So it's a super endurance, not just on the men that drive it, but the machine to make it to the end, whether it's a mechanical problem or an accident or what have you. But anyway, where I'm going with that is I have a little bit of history here. The head of Corvette Racing is Doug Fehan, and super nice guy. I've met him, more than several times. And Tommy Milner's one of the drivers. There's Oliver Gavin. There's Jordan Taylor. There's 3 other guys there for the other team. But this is the 64 car we're talking about. Anyway, I've met them several times. I volunteer. I'm a staff member up at the Simeon Automotive Museum. We've got a bunch of antique race cars up there. It's really cool. It's not far from the airport. If you're ever in the area, look me up, let me know, or head over there yourself and check it out. It's a pretty cool place. But we had this auction thing going on here where they raise money for the auction. And these guys are kind enough, Tommy Milner, Doug, they come to the museum. They bring all kinds of cool stuff to auction off. Automobilia stuff. They actually had like little droplets of oil from the winning Le Mans car of 2015 when they won the 24 hours there. That was pretty cool. The piece that I have now is off the 16, and I'm going to show it to you right here. It's called a winglet. So this piece right here, it's been autographed by Doug and Tommy, and then I guess Pratt & Miller had put this label on here. This is specific to the Le Mans race, and I'll share that with you in just a second what that means. So anyway, if you look on the picture here, what I did was I circled the area, and you can kind of see where the rivets are in that piece. So that would be on the passenger side, and you can see where these holes are here. That's where the rivets would be. Of course, it's carbon fiber. And anyway, this is the piece from that car. this is actually a spot here where a winglet can be attached. So this piece can come off. It may even be screwed on. I'm not sure if it is rivets. I think it is. But and attached like a winglet would be a small, like a spoiler sort of thing. It has to do with aerodynamics. So anyway, I don't want to ramble on about that too much. So basically for this auction, we raised money for the museum. I was the highest bidder. I was the lucky guy to win this, and I'll show you the picture here in just a second. You might recognize the guy in the middle right there. So you got this guy, you know, as seen on YouTube. There's Doug and there's Tommy, and they were kind enough to sign the piece for me. So that was kind of cool, and now we have it right here. So what I'm doing is I'm making a shadow box, and I'll show you. I'm not going to necessarily show you the process, but I'm just going to show you basically how to put it together, what I'm going to do, and eventually I'll have my man cave built in the basement, and it's going on the wall. So I think it'll look pretty cool. Some facts about the C7 R Corvette. It weighs about, fully loaded with fuel and driver, about 2,700 pounds. So it's pretty light. A stock C7 Corvette's probably about 3,400 pounds easy without any driver in it. So, you know, there's a big weight difference there. I believe it's a 5.5 liter engine that runs on ethanol, pure ethanol. So it's nothing like the road car. And, you know, there's, of course, the suspension, like I mentioned earlier, it's completely different. So it's a pretty neat piece of history that I have here. This particular car, this came off the 2016 car. And I think they finished like 7th and 10th place in their division in the GTE Pro Series that year. But in 15, they did win Le Mans. And that was pretty cool. At least the one of the cars did. Anyway, so let me take you to the board here. I'm going to show you what I got going on, and we'll put it together. If you've got any questions about Corvette racing, I mean, I could go on, but I don't feel like making a video an hour for you guys, and you probably don't want to sit through it. But if you have any questions or comments about Corvette racing or just Corvettes in general, be sure to leave them down below. I read all the comments and go through them, so it's never a bad thing to do that. So without further ado, let's get down here. So I didn't have time to make my own shadow box, so I just bought one. I think this was like 30 bucks on sale, something like that. You can get it at one of the hobby places. Anyhow, you've got this backing right here, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take the piece that we have, and I'm going to mount this towards the center, and I'll probably just use Velcro on the back of this, and you know, later on I'll give you a better shot when I stand it up how it's going to look. But what I did do was I have some pictures printed out of the actual car. So here's that piece, and I have it circled so you can kind of see it. I'm going to put that like here. I'm going to lay this out. Here's the picture I showed you before. Probably put that over here. Now I had this is a plaque made of metal, and it explains exactly, you know, what's going on here. What I just told you guys, basically, that this piece, this winglet, is from the 2016 car, and I had Tommy and Doug swear on their life about it, so it's legit. Anyhow, I've got an oil cap. So this says Corvette Racing on it. It's a metal cap. It's funny how they put 3M tape. It actually just sticks to the existing stock cap, and that goes on. So we'll put that in there. And then I went online. I bought a miniature version of the wings. Each Corvette generation has a different set of wings, they call it. So I've got that here, and then I've got the Corvette, and that has self-sticking sticker stuff on the back. So does the Corvette emblem, which if you're looking at the back of the car on any Corvette, it's usually a setup like this. So you'll see the wings, and then you'll see the emblem, whether they're chrome or black. But that's how they look. The chrome I thought would show up better here. So I'm going to put those in here, kind of just, you know, playing around with the idea. And then I'll have the picture of the three of us here with those guys right after they sign this for me. We'll put that right up in here somewhere. And I'm just going to use a double-sided tape to acid-free, of course. If you just use regular type of double-sided tape or Scotch tape, the acid can actually, over time, actually eat through and mess up the ink colors. So we don't want that to happen. So I'll double stick that, put this here. I'm not sure how I'm going to attach this part yet. We'll figure that one out. And once it's all together, I'll put the camera back on and show you what we got. Let me take you in a little closer, show you how it all laid out. So what I did for the oil cap, I used a push pin, and then I took some of the double-sided tape and wrapped it around the push pin and just put that right on there. Stuck to it. That worked out well. Double-sided the tape here on all the pictures. Of course, the emblem already had double-sided sticky tape. So the trickiest part was just laying that out straight. I just used a ruler along there and placed those pieces. I think it was like 4 or 5 pieces. And that's that. And the Velcro, of course, I mentioned earlier. Sorry about the glare. There's not much I can do with that. But anyway, it came out, I think, really nice. So once you have everything mounted, there's just some, you put the backing into the frame here, and there's some clips that just, you fold them out. And that locks everything in. And we're about ready to hang it up on the wall. Well, I think it came out really cool. I'm pleased with it. It's been a while since I've been wanting to put this together. So I'm glad you guys could share that with me. I'm here in the dining room. We'll see how long till my wife realizes I swapped one of her pictures out for this thing of beauty right here. So anyhow, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. Instagram is Ozzstar1, Facebook Ozzstar. If you have a racing story you want to share or comment or just a question in general about Corvettes, leave them here down below. And I guess I'll see you guys on the next one. So take it easy.